your head.
Wasn't expecting to catch that on GoPro, if I'm honest. It's all a bit mad. Nice and light. So today, I've come to the top of Bristol, as you may be able to tell behind. This may be a little familiar to those of you who watched my peregrine video relatively recently, but I'm actually up here for a slightly different animal. I'm trying to find a friend of mine. I've just seen the animal that I'm here for, and it's doing exactly what I want it to do, and I think it's caught my friend off guard, because I can see him walking along the path trying to catch up with it. Did you miss the shot by any chance?
I just missed.
Did you not see it? It was like banking round and then did hovering.
Unbelievable.
Toby, out and about Matt Gould channel, out and about Matt Gould channel. Toby.
It's an honour and a pleasure.
Link to all the good, you know, wildlife stuff of his down below.
It's been incredible.
Have you had some good shots?
Yeah.
Sick. Where have you been? I've not actually been here for the kestrels
down
before.
here. I've just been over there.
Okay.
Oh, they're everywhere.
Oh, sick.
They're
Man.
everywhere.
That's what you want. That's what you want. Where do you think is the best place to start?
Down here. This
Down
is where
here.
I've been
Sick.
the past 2 hours.
Cool. We'll do that.
No, it's unparalleled, really, I
yeah?
would say, in terms of how close you can get and the creative possibilities, I suppose.
Nice, nice.
So yeah, we're shooting a lot of photos, a lot of videos.
Nice, that's what we like.
Yeah, just absolutely milking the opportunity.
Perfect.
Not often you get this chance.
No, let's get set up. Just so everyone on this channel realises that I'm not faking it when I'm convinced that wildlife is against me, can you just repeat what you just said?
I can confirm that
I'm not making this up.
For the past 2 hours, there have been 2 kestrels sat, I'd say about 4 or 5 metres away on the cliff face. And no word of a lie, as soon as Matt has arrived, can't even see them.
There's not one.
They're not even flying around.
They're not, they've just gone. So it's just a waiting game now. But what have you in the meantime? So what makes this such a good spot? Well, the most obvious reason is that these cliffs are home to a breeding pair of kestrels, and at this time of year, the chicks are fledging. So if you're patient, you may just get a completely wild, up-close view that will be hard to match anywhere else. As you stand on the footpath's main viewpoint, you can see a small cliff poking out on the left, which appears to be the favourite spot for fledgling kestrels, who, thanks to their urban surroundings, are completely unperturbed by the presence of people. Couple that with the brilliant vantage point and you have a perfect recipe. So it's all been kicking off really. Every time we sort of relax a little bit, there seems to be something mad happen, like the delivery of some sort of prey item to a kestrel sat directly in front of us, which is nuts. The kestrel that receives the food parcel seems to dive into a little bit of scrub and you just can't see it at all. But all the time you're concentrating on that, there then appears to be kestrels all around, hovering for just long enough for you to think that you can get the shot, and then you can't. It's basically what's happening. But I am not complaining at all, because there is something happening constantly, which is a privilege in wildlife photography. And it was just after we were moaning about them having all disappeared as soon as I arrived. But it's just there. Probably can't make it out, but it's just on that rock. And we are a substantial height up. I've got to put this down for a second and try and film as much as I can, because it's quite tricky to keep up with. So we've been at it for a few hours now. The hat is back on because the sun is back out. And the wind has died down. There's far less risk of losing it to the cliff edge. Anyway, to the point. It's been an absolute privilege so far to spend the day surrounded by juvenile kestrels, but this one in particular is sort of tempting me with the beautiful shot, but I just can't quite get it. So, to explain, do you know what this flower is?
I wish I did.
I will ID it along the bottom, but there's a pink flower here. I don't know if you can see. That's not only just in this little patch of hedgerow right by the path, and so excellent for creating bokeh, but it's at every stage along the line of sight right up until the kestrel. So there's a really good potential image there to sort of surround it in this beautiful pink colour, but the only issue is, one, having it face the right way, and two, getting it surrounded enough that it blends together nicely. But the biggest thing is trying to get it sharp. Because when you're trying to shoot through a load of foliage, it's very easy to make it soft. And it's actually quite tricky to be able to see the screen a lot of the time, because in order to get it exactly how I want it, I'm having to lift the camera to a really tricky angle. But it's a challenge I'm really enjoying. Just gotta keep going with it. Throughout the day, this spot provided some incredible photographic opportunities, which I will get to later, though for me the most unexpected and most uplifting part of the day was the opportunity to share this with passers-by. Toby and I, being the ones with the big lenses pointed at the cliffs, were regularly asked questions about what we were looking at, and when we'd answer them it would inevitably snowball into more questions and often a full discussion about wildlife that most people had no idea was there.
So there's 5 of them.
It's 5 of them?
5 chicks.
Oh,
And they're all
over there.
They've just fledged their nest about a week ago.
Within the world of the wildlife nerd, it often feels like explaining our love of nature or why it's so important can often fall on deaf ears. But given the chance to actually show people something in the moment as it's happening has so far been the most effective way that I've found to communicate the beauty or importance of the natural world. When people go out on a stroll around the city and come across things like juvenile kestrels just sat there, why wouldn't you hang around for a bit? You could even catch a glimpse of the parents taking to the skies and displaying their famous hovering skills. And if you're super lucky, you may even get to witness their incredible agility as they swoop down to pick up dinner for their hungry chicks to fight over, before eventually setting off to capture food of their own. So for some, what would have been just a leisurely walk could actually result in an unexpected peek into the lives of these uniquely agile and beautiful animals. And it's because of this potential to grab people who wouldn't usually think twice about nature that I think this is one of the best, or at least most underrated spots out there.